Hi there, my name is Dr. Christine. I'm an energy psychology practitioner, life purpose coach, and intuitive. And today I finally want to share my story, my Spirit Baby Part 2 story, which I've promised you quite a while ago. And for some reason, I haven't gotten around to making that video because it's just been incredibly busy on my end. But I received very strong guidance that that video is overdue, so I'm going to share that story with you as well. Now, these videos on concepts of conscious pregnancy or conscious journey of motherhood or parenthood, they're not just meant for those people that identify as women and or identify as a birthing person and want to be stepping into what we generally call motherhood. They're really also meant to be videos to sort of do this higher conscious education and to kind of broaden your mindset and broaden your perspective of what life is about and burst that bubble, kind of getting you out of the matrix and understanding that it's not just the illusion of this physical reality, but that there's other dimensions and realities and concepts and ideas and theories and philosophies playing into all of this. So if you don't identify as that or are on the journey of motherhood or parenthood or whatever else, it doesn't matter if you're a man or identifying as other anything else. It really doesn't matter. Still continue listening to this because there's something in it for you as well. So that's really what they're they're telling me to share with you all as well. When I say they, that's my higher guidance. That's my call it high God consciousness. It's many entities, many things together, but it's all radiant love and above. It's God that I connect with. So so that's kind of the channels that I bring into these videos. All my videos are channeled. None of these videos are just kind of a fluke of my own ego. They're all channeled. So that said, let me tell you my story of how I perceived my second child, who is my son. He has come through 15 months ago. He was born. Um, Today it is March 2024. So in case you're watching this in the future, so 15 months ago in March 2024, he was born. But I actually had I was in contact with his soul and his spirit way before I even conceived him in my pregnancy. I If you haven't watched my first video about how I intuited and received signs that my daughter, my first child, wanted to come through, go ahead and watch that, because I do mention that I have I when I meditated, during that time when I was conceiving my daughter, I not only perceived my daughter's spirit, which was a pinkish bubble of energy with like a white light in it, which is her soul's essence, right? And the pink was just signifying that she wanted to come through. She chose the gender of female and identifies with that more. Although I have to say, just quick disclaimer, there's a lot of souls coming through these days. In my own experience, I see it in my clients, and I've seen it in my son, who want to be the gender male, right? Or, when I say that, I'm saying, they're coming through and they have a penis. They want to be the gender male, but they have a lot of feminine energy, because that's just the time on planet Earth that we're living in. There's a ton of feminine energy coming back to planet Earth as a way to rebalance the structure, because we've gone through a very patriarchal sort of era. There's a lot of male energy, and now there's feminine energy coming back, and the pendulum is kind of swinging back into balance. And I'll be making another video about that at one point. But basically, what we're working through right now is bringing all dimensions of us into balance and into oneness. Okay, and as part of that, there's a lot of spirit babies or souls, right? Spirit babies and souls are kind of interchangeable, that are ready to be born, that are coming in with some feminine energy, but really are deciding to come in, with the the organic organs of a male, right? So I really was in contact with my son in some ways already when my daughter, was still in spirit. I had conceived her. I was meditating and I saw my daughter's pink white light bubble sort of float into my uterus area and merge with my uterus. I did not know at the time that I was pregnant. I found out 2 weeks later that I was pregnant. So this was before I actually, had the physiological evidence on a, pee stick that I was pregnant. But before that, I saw her sort of float. And as I was meditating then, and that image came to me, I also saw my son, and he was sort of further away, also in his bubble. It's like a sort of an orb you can imagine, and it has a white light in it. And I saw some bluish haze around it, knowing that that would probably be my son. And so my daughter's pregnancy was normal. I birthed her. I had some postpartum things going on after that, which was related to COVID and all of that stuff. And I might make a video about that later on, because that's really got me on the path of having one specialization in my practice where I want to help women who are on the journey of motherhood, who step into motherhood, and who want to integrate, the allopathic medicine that's out there, the traditional medicine, which is, therapy and meds when you come down with postpartum depression. They want to integrate that with alternative things. So that's kind of how my practice and my specialization in my practice of conscious parenthood came to be. But to go back to my son, I was meditating and I saw his white light bubble, and I was like, oh, interesting. So he wants to come through pretty quickly, because if he wasn't in my energy field already, that would have meant that he wasn't ready yet to come through. So I had my daughter, and very quickly after my daughter, I had this just unexplainable desire to become pregnant again. It was almost like he was pushing me. It was, and I started communicating with him too. I am both clairaudient, meaning I hear spirit, as well as clairvoyance. So I do get images as well, and sometimes they also talk through my feelings, so clairsentient. But in this case, I was very much clairaudiently communicating with him. And he was very much keen on saying, Mommy, I'm going to give you a little bit of time to recover from, my sister's birth, but I'm really going to want to come through pretty quickly. And so I had this, even though my birth was especially postpartum, was hard with my daughter, and I was kind of, my body was longing to recover, my mind was longing to recover, my spirit was really keen on, he wants to come through, so I want to give him that opportunity. Spirit babies, the way that I've perceived it, and I continue learning about it, but and from books, but also from spirit directly. Spirit babies, have different motives for coming through. Maybe they're contractual, meaning that you and your spirit baby, your son or daughter, coming through, have a contract. And or your spouse or partner who you're having the spirit baby with, they might have the stronger contract with them. So there might be contractual things where people of the same soul family will come through together, and they will give each other opportunities to learn on planet Earth. But spirit babies can also just kind of float around and just choose somebody because they think that they're the best parent to come through. So with my son, it was sort of clear that, not only had he decided that I was the best parent for him, and my husband as well, but he really, had a contract, and he wanted to sign a snap come through. I had some other people outside of me actually tell me that I was going to have a boy, regardless. People were very decisive about, there's going to be a girl and then there's going to be a boy. And, and there's a possibility that I might have a third child. We'll see. But that just said that if I make a video in like 5 years from now, I can refer back and say, you see, that's that's the evidence, right? Because part of what I'm trying to do here is just really show you that this stuff is real. It's not just gobbledygook. It's not just woo-woo stuff. That's why I got a PhD in this. My mission here is really to ground it in the here and now, ground it in data as much as we can, and really help people understand that this stuff is real, and it's here to help us, and it's here to heal us, and it's here to further our evolution. So my son was speaking with me, pretty much the entire year and a half that my daughter, so 18 months, that my daughter was, growing up and being a toddler and all of that. I felt him around. He came through, very closely to when my daughter was about 15 months. So my son's age now, he came in pretty consistently, especially in my meditations. And he would tell me, Mommy, I really need to come through. He would tell me very specific things like, I want to ride a motorcycle. And I think I'm very interested in engineering. I'm trying to find a key to how planet Earth is working. He would give me, things like, I would really like to play the drums. I want to be a drummer. And then I would have to explain to him that, he wouldn't be a grown man coming in, that he would have a little body first, and then we would have to grow that body, and then he would be able to do all these things. And I'll reference that in a second as well. So at some point, around 20, what was that? He was born in 23. So that was beginning of 2022. He came in and he was really like, all right, people of this earth, you gotta move along. And I would tell him, well, I'm starting to feel ready. I'm starting to feel like my body's recovered enough to carry you. But let's talk to daddy. And my husband was very like, I don't know if I want to have a second child quite yet. But there was one moment where he was, sort of a time frame where my spirit baby son was very determined, and he was like, you got to talk to daddy. I want to come through, and I want to hang out with daddy in the yard and, rake some leaves, and this needs to happen. And if it doesn't happen now, I'm going to choose some other parents, because I really need to come through now, because I have some stuff to do on planet Earth. And I said, okay, I'm going to, hold your horses. I'm going to try to make this happen. And I talked to my husband about it, and thankfully I have a lovely husband who was very open to all of these things and supportive and all these things. And so he was like, okay. And so my spirit was like, if you do the act right now, then I will come through. And sure enough, that's what happened. So it was really kind of one and done. I was pregnant right after, and that was that. And that's just to say also that there's a piece of conscious fertility or conscious conception, which is we can invite the spirit babies, the souls we're meant to have as our children, into the physical act of creation of their bodies, and invite them in, and let them know that this is happening now, and it's happening in love, and they can come through and they can start, establishing that silver cord to their bodies that are going to be built for them. That is actually a very powerful way to conceive if you haven't had a lot of success in conception, and there's nothing else going on the spiritual, the physical, or whatever. You're just kind of like not really sure why. Then that can be a really powerful technique to become pregnant, because a lot of times the souls want to be acknowledged, and the souls also want to be conceived in love. All right, the act has to be in love. It has to be that energy has to be around it a lot of times. Otherwise the souls don't want to come in, because all of that sets the tone for their bodies, the health of their bodies, the health of their brains, and all of that. So my son came in like that because he needed to come in. He wanted to come in. I was instantly pregnant with him. My pregnancy with him was hard because my body was still depleted. But he talked to me all throughout the pregnancy, and I knew instantly that he was a boy. Which was also confirmed then, a couple of weeks after, 12 weeks after or so, we did that test, and it turned out that he actually is a boy. Even though in the beginning of my pregnancy, I was very nauseous, and I had heard of a lot of other women who had, a girl and a boy, who said, oh, my pregnancy with my boy was much easier. I cannot say that about my son. I was just as nauseous with my son as I was with my daughter. And for a second there, his energy shifted too, and I really thought, well, is he really a boy, or is he trying to come through as a girl? Because in the beginning, spirit babies can still sort of, make the first 12 weeks, they can still make a switch in gender. Um, and it can also be based on what the parents want. So if you have a specific gender wish, you can talk with your spirit baby and they may come through as that. If that is of benefit to your relationship with them and of benefit to them. Sometimes they want a specific gender because it's related to a lesson that they need to work through here on planet Earth. So it doesn't work all the time. But the beauty of all of this is that, you can talk with your spirit baby. And my son's pregnancy was healthy. He was born on January 11th. A very healthy little boy. He told me also when he was going to be born. I was able to intuit that based on my abilities and some tools that I used. And it was that day that he was born. It was the 11th that he had given me, and is a wonderful little healthy boy, very sensitive, definitely has, more of a feminine streak in him. He's very sensitive, he's very intuitive, but he is actually everything that he told me he would be. He's starting to be a little engineer. He loves to build things. He loves to understand how things work. He turns them around 5,000 times and looks at them and tries to figure out how they work. So there's definitely that engineering piece in him. He loves music. When you give him a little drum or something, he will drum all day long. So I think we got our little drummer here as well. And his favorite toy to play with are cars, and especially motorcycles. So that's all just to say that I didn't make this up. This story really just kind of unfolded as it went, and this is experiential and though anecdotal evidence, but it is evidence that our spirit babies are there. They're floating around us. They decide which parents they want. They decide their circumstances. And if you're parents who want to conceive, you are absolutely available and able to speak with them. By the way, not just moms can speak with their babies, the dads can as well, or the partners, whoever, whoever is the second partner that might not be carrying a baby, but they can speak with them as well. And we can understand, what they want in life. We can even ask them if they like the name that they, that you're thinking about giving them, or if they have another name that they would like to be called. So that was my experience with my son. The morale of the story, or why I'm telling you the story, is really to make you aware that there is something called the afterlife. And it's not, we conceptualize it more as, well, our loved ones are dying and then they're, in another dimension, but they're still with us. Their souls are still with us. They just shed their body. Yes, that's true as well, but there's another bookend to it, and that's the beginning of life, right? So there's this whole life cycle on the other end, afterlife end, where a soul dies, exits its old life, and then goes into a period of rejuvenation, and then a period of working through what they learned on planet Earth, and then a period of, well, what do I want to do next? And there's many routes. Just as on planet Earth, you can decide to do many things, and in the afterlife, you can decide to do many things too. And many spirits will decide to come back to planet Earth. Why? Because it's an excellent planet to evolve your consciousness and to learn lessons about love, and not just love, but compassion, forgiveness, relationships. This is a planet of relationships, and relationships arguably teach you the most about anything on planet Earth, about emotions and all of that. So planet Earth is a wonderful, wonderful planet to feel emotions and learn from them, something that we can't do when we're not in the body. So when those souls have decided that they want to come back to planet Earth, because that's particularly interesting to them and their journey and evolution and consciousness towards that. So the big journey is merging back with God. And they think, well, planet Earth is the greatest planet where I can learn all these lessons, right? Then they're going to come in and they're going to say, okay, I'm going to come in this constellation with that person, and that's going to be my mom, and that's going to be my dad, and all of that. So that's just to show you that that's possible, that you are actually a parent before a child comes in physically, that you can already speak with them before they come in physically, and you are able to also work through things physically. There's a whole slew of things about, well, what happens if, a child comes in and then I miscarry? That's obviously tragic. It's very tragic. It's very sad. Um, and I have to tell you that, as humans, we do those souls a great service because they don't have to go through the whole life cycle. They can work through their karma really quickly. And so you're actually of service to them. And as much as it's sad and the physical sort of illusion of this realm that this baby wasn't able to come through fully, there is a God plan to it, and there's a purpose to it. And you are doing your suffering is of great service to them, and you offering your body for them to come through really quickly is of great service to them as well. So more to be revealed here. I will be making more videos about this because I think it's going to serve a lot of women out there or birthing people. And that was my story of how my son came through. And he's a lovely boy, healthy, all of these things, gonna do great things on the planet, huge mission. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this story. I hope you realize that there's so much more to life than what the eye meets. And I hope you continue to follow me. If this served, please share it with people. So that more and more people, that we can continue this mission of meta-evolution, of love revolution, so more and more people can awaken and actually start healing and feeling fulfilled and understanding their purpose here. And if you want to work with me, like I mentioned, I work mostly with people who are, struggling with life purpose, who want to kind of get their consciousness to the next level, and start understanding what they're here for. But I also work with mothers and birthing people in the journey in motherhood, and helping them not just conceive, but conceptualize the great journey of motherhood and how they're serving humanity through raising little people in a conscious matter, because there's a flood of high consciousness beings coming in, and they need their parents to be high consciousness as well. So with that said, you can check me out. My website is drchristine.com, and you can get in touch with me there. And otherwise, I hope you have a lovely, lovely day, and I will see you next week again. Goodbye.